Hey YouTube, so I'm back again doing a review, a full review of these Brooks Brothers Peal shell Cordovan boots, and they're actually made by Crockett and Jones out of England. And as you can see, they're in burgundy shell Cordovan. They do have the rubber day-night soles, and this particular pair is on the 240 last. As you can see, it's a cap-toe Blucher boot. Fairly formal as far as boots go, and so this is the review. So let's get right into it. So on these boots you have 4 eyelets. They are reinforced, but they're hidden from the outside, and that's in contrast. I'm going to run back and forth between a few of these other boots that I have. As you can see, a lot of boots that are out there, the Aldens on the left and then the 2 Crockett and Jones on the right, they'll have exposed eyelets. So these are automatically going to be a little bit more formal just because they have the hidden eyelets. We do have 4 speed hooks at the top, split reverse welt, and as I already mentioned, the rubber day-night soles. So and the double sole thickness. Very nice boot. They are fully lined, except for the tongue. The tongue is an unlined shell Cordovan piece. We have a padded heel, and then Crockett and Jones and a lot of other manufacturers don't really put any padding in the upper the part of the sole underneath here because they use a cork insole. So, and you can see, I think in the video, how beautiful these are. It's definitely a burgundy color, but due to the nature of the shell Cordovan, it reflects light differently. You can sort of see through the top layer, and it does a really nice job of showing off the beauty of the shell Cordovan. And as you can see in this one, we have different shades. So this is one shade of burgundy. We have darker here and still darker on the toe cap, and that's pretty normal too. Because these are, I think, if I understand how this works, in order to make this pair of shell Cordovan boots, it basically came from 2 different horses because they're large enough that it probably all the material can't come from a single horse hide. So those are the Crockett and Jones for Peal shell Cordovan boots. Before I get into the direct comparisons, let me show you what you get when you buy these. Obviously, you get a box. You get shoe bags, and then you get a Brooks Brothers branded shell Cordovan book that tells you a little bit about the history and so forth of shell Cordovan. Now, I have a few other shell Cordovan boots, so I'm going to do a comparison now of some of these others. The most similar is a pair of Alden 4J Crew boots that I have, and I've had these for a long time. A number of years, probably 5 years now. And Alden does a different sort of finishing on their burgundy shell Cordovan, actually all their shell Cordovans, but burgundy in particular. They use a very dark, almost eggplant acrylic finish on it that over time wears through. And as you can see, these are starting to show basically the same shade as the brand new burgundy Crockett and Jones are showing. And these are just fantastic boots. I really like them. They do have the perf toe, they have the exposed eyelets, and they use wide laces, Alden does. So these are a little bit less formal than these are, but still a very, very nice boot. And as you can see, I wear the heck out of these. And they're definitely in a sturdy boot. Served me well. I also happen to have 2 other pair of shell Cordovan boots, and these are actually made by Crockett and Jones. Both of these are made for Ralph Lauren, under the Ralph Lauren name, but still made by Crockett and Jones in England. And as you can see, these are brown shell Cordovan. These use, this was originally called the Gianni. I don't know if it's available anymore. I don't think it is. But this is about 3 years old, and as you can see, they just use a leather sole, double leather sole, split reverse welt, same thing on the Lindrick here, the wingtip boot. On the Gianni, they used 5 eyelets followed by 4 speed hooks, so it's a little bit of a taller boot if you actually compare them side to side. Both of them have the pull tabs, which I don't really use. I don't know what those are exactly for, other than putting on the boot, and it's not really necessary to help put on the boot that way. But these are a very nice boot, and I certainly hope that Ralph Lauren's going to carry them again. At the time that they were carried, let's talk about price. At the time that these were carried on the Ralph Lauren website, I think these were $1,200 or $1,300 a pair. The Aldens for J. Crew, I think they're usually on the website for J. Crew, and they're somewhere between $600 and $700 at the moment. And then these, the newest, the Brooks Brothers Peal, made by Crockett and Jones, are $1,098 or $1,098. And so those are a little bit less expensive than the Ralph Lauren's would be if they carried them, but they haven't been available for a few years, or maybe 2 years now. A comment real quick on speed hooks. So as I mentioned, these are, getting it to be a few years old. Obviously these are brand new, so these are the same style speed hooks, nice and robust. Aldens are a little bit thinner material and tend to bend a little bit easier. And there's actually a lot of guys who send these out and get the speed hooks replaced with eyelets. More similar, I guess, to what the Lindrick has, which is eyelets all the way up. As far as styling, I already talked about the fact that these are perforated toes versus just a cap toe here. As far as the soles, I talked about the day-night sole that's available on the Brooks Brothers. As you can tell, I do wear these boots. I wear them often. I wear them in lousy weather mostly, because that's when you wear boots, is in the wintertime. And I don't use the rubber, half shoes or any of that kind of stuff. And the leather soles, they hold up just fine as long as you get the double leather sole. Now I do have some shoes that I've used, in the wet and the rain and so forth. And if it's a single leather sole, it tends to be a little colder in the winter, and the water, might have an opportunity to come through. But and that's quite frankly what the day-night sole is supposedly really good at, is the slush and the rain, not necessarily snow, but we'll put them to the test this winter. So let's talk about sizing. Now, I mentioned that these are on the 240 last, 240. Both of these boots are on the 325 last, and then the Aldens are on the Berry last. So these 3 boots are all size 11.5 US. I went to size 12 for the Peal and Company because I have a little bit wider foot, and with the width of the 240 last, the size 12 just happened to work better. I actually got both 11.5 and a 12, tried them both on, and the 12 is what I'm going to end up keeping. So I'm really looking forward to breaking these in, wearing them in, and hopefully someday they'll look as good as these as far as wear. And I'll shoot an update video here at some point and show you how that's going.